Hi, I'm Natalie Martin from Kupiec Martin. Today I'll be presenting recent legislation, regulations, and Illinois tax tribunal cases dealing in the state and local tax world. First, I'd like to discuss recent Illinois legislation dealing in the state and local tax world. One of the first pieces of legislation dealt with private label credit cards and non-collection and the sales tax implications of that. The second piece of legislation dealt with real estate investment trusts, commonly known as REITs, and the definition for the Illinois Department of Revenue, and more specifically the definition of a captive real estate investment trust. The third piece of legislation deals with the Uniform Penalty and Interest Act regarding sales tax returns and the $100 penalty that is assessed only for returns that do not have any tax due. Our fourth piece of tax legislation deals with conditional sales and where the lessor is considered to be doing business. This is a change. It used to be where the contract was entered into, and now the legislation provides that the conditional sale, the lessor is conducting business where the delivery is to the lessee for their first intended use. The second item I'd like to discuss is recently enacted regulations promulgated by the Illinois Department of Revenue. The first regulation deals with transportation, and it deals most specifically with the definition of revenue miles and business conducted in the state. The second regulation deals with hedging, and specifically currency hedging, and how a business would treat their hedging activities for their sales factor apportionment for the Illinois Department of Revenue. The third is regarding shipping and handling. Shipping and handling regulation was promulgated in response to the Supreme Court case Keene versus Walmart and deals with bundled shipping and any other issues that regard shipping and handling in transactions with vendors and retailers. Third item I'd like to discuss is recent cases before the Illinois Tax Tribunal. The Illinois Tax Tribunal is a relatively new tax authority in Illinois, and they have decided some interesting cases. One of their first cases had to do with filing an Illinois amended return for a federal RAR change. The second case had to do with a residency issue and whether or not an individual was a lawful resident of Illinois or Florida. The third case had to do with the 80-20 law in Illinois and whether or not a company fulfilled the certain requirements. The fourth case had to do with throwback and sales sourcing, which is an extremely hot topic for Illinois businesses. The fifth case had to do with a construction contractor and whether certain telecommunication equipment was taxable under the use tax by the Illinois Department of Revenue. Fourthly, I'd like to discuss what we can look forward to in the future of state and local tax. First, when Illinois implements a budget, look for tax legislation and implications to be part of that. Secondly, for multi-state businesses, look for new information regarding sales tax sourcing. More specifically, how you will delineate your income between the states, especially to Illinois. Illinois has changed its sales factor sourcing, so look for the Department of Revenue to provide further information. Third, as I mentioned earlier, look for the Illinois Independent Tax Tribunal to promulgate new cases. They have hundreds of cases before them, and new opinions should be coming out. It's a great way to keep on top of any state and local tax cases and issues in Illinois. For more information on recent tax legislation, regulations, and cases, please view my full presentation recorded during the Illinois State and Local Tax Update Program and available in the ISBA online CLE archives. Thank you.